This is the Keychron K2 HE Special Edition, a keyboard that promises to blend premium aesthetics with cutting-edge tech. The K2 HE boasts magnetic Hall effect switches, customizable actuation points, and a compact 75% layout, aiming to solve the problem of balancing style, performance, and customization in one neat package. So, let's dive into detailed review of these features and see whether this matches your style and needs. And if you find this video helpful, please help out the channel by giving it a like and subscribing. Let's start off with the design. The Keychron K2 comes in two editions. First, they sent over the special edition in white, and the combination of solid wood sides, metal frames, and those rounded OSA keycaps give it a unique flair that feels both modern and timeless. Now, this aesthetic might not be for everyone, especially if you're more into vibrant RGB lighting. But for those who appreciate a sophisticated setup, this is probably the prettiest keyboard you'll ever lay your hands on. I do have a small concern about the white keycaps though. They look great now, but I wonder how they'll hold up after a few months of heavy use. If you're like me and a little worried about that, the black model might be the safer bet. Keychron also offers a standard edition of the K2 HE if you're not into the wood look. It's a bit more affordable and has shine-through keycaps for those who want to show off their RGB lighting. But the special edition feels a lot more premium, rather than the standard edition. Even though the core of the chassis is plastic, the wood panels and metal frames give it a weight and stability that you just don't get with a purely plastic build. The keyboard doesn't budge on your desk, thanks in part to its 2.13-pound weight and rubber pads on the bottom. And speaking of comfort, the adjustable flip-up feet let you find the perfect angle, which is great because, let's face it, we all have our preferences when it comes to typing posture. When it comes to actual gaming and typing, the K2 HE doesn't just look good, it performs well too. I'm more into strategy games and single-player FPS titles, so I might not push the magnetic switches to their limits, but during my gaming sessions, the keyboard felt natural and responsive. I think that's partly because I've been using a Keychron K2 for a while now, and the 75% layout just feels right for both gaming and typing. There's something about the weight and the feel of the keys that makes this keyboard stand out. It's thoughtful in all the right ways, and even though I miss the metal knob from my Corsair K65 Plus wireless, the overall experience with the K2 HE is more satisfying. Now, let's talk about the switches. This is where things get really interesting. The K2 HE uses Keychron's double-rail magnetic switches, which are also known as Hall effect switches. These aren't your typical mechanical switches. They let you customize the actuation points in 0.1mm increments, meaning you can fine-tune how far you need to press a key before it registers. This is a dream come true for gamers who love to tweak their settings. These linear switches are incredibly smooth and stable. Even though I usually prefer tactile switches, I have to admit that these are some of the nicest linear switches I've ever used. The sound-dampening foam and stabilizers make sure that even the larger keys stay firm with no wobbling, which adds to the overall premium feel of the keyboard. Software can make or break a keyboard experience, and I'm happy to tell you that Keychron's approach is refreshingly simple. Instead of some bulky software that crashes half the time, Keychron uses a web app for the K2 HE. It's straightforward and easy to use. You plug in the keyboard, open the app, and you're good to go. You can customize key assignments, control the RGB lighting, record macros, and adjust the switch actuation points, all from this web app. It's a clean, and it works across devices, which is a huge plus in my book. However, there are a few limitations as well. For instance, I tried to map different actions to different actuation levels on the same key, but it turns out you can't do that with media controls. It's a small thing, but something to keep in mind if you're planning on getting really creative with your key mappings. On the flip side, if you're into RGB lighting, the web app lets you fine-tune everything from single static colors to various patterns. The special edition solid keycaps do hold back some of the RGB glow, so if that's important to you, the standard edition might be a better fit. As for my final verdict, if you're in the market for an affordable wireless 75% keyboard, there are cheaper options out there rather than K2 HE keyboard. But you'd be missing out on Keychron's slick web app, and more importantly, the incredibly smooth and stable Keychron double rail switches. These switches are so good that they're making me rethink my love for tactile switches. The special edition costs $140, and it offers even more with its premium materials and design. It's not just a keyboard, it's a statement piece for your desk. If you love the idea of wood-accented tech, appreciate the latest in switch technology, and want a keyboard that feels as good as it looks, the Keychron K2 HE Special Edition should be at the top of your list. It's not the cheapest option, but for what it delivers, smooth switches, customizable actuation, and a stunning design, I'd say it's worth every penny.